Hi, and welcome to Emsi Webinars. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're very excited. We've got Emsi's Ben Owen with us today, who is the Director of Accounts for FE. And we also have Leigh Allsopp from Wakefield College. Very excited to have you with us, Leigh, as well. We're talking about careers and career coach. And if you have any questions during the course of the webinar, please put them in the questions box on your control panel, and we'll endeavour to get back to those at some point. If not, we will follow up afterwards with you. You will receive a recording of the webinar and also the slides afterwards. So keep an eye open for the follow-up email. So without any further ado, I'll hand over to you, Ben. Hi, Ben.
Good morning, Debbie. Thank you for that. And good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another one of our Emsi webinars. And today I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Leigh Allsopp from Wakefield College. So we're going to be talking through how Wakefield are currently using Career Coach, excuse me, are currently using Career Coach within their school engagement, student recruitment and careers offer. So just before we get into that, just to remind people in terms of who we are and what we do. So here at Emsi, our mission is to use our labour market data to inform and connect people, as in students in FE perspective, educationalists and employers around the context of regional economies, and in particular around that common language of skills, which obviously is really pertinent, particularly around Ofsted's new framework around intent, implementation and impact, certainly quality of education, and also following on from the white paper around how FE in particular and FE can connect with local employers and local skills demand. So today we're going to have a look at our Career Coach product, a product that I've used extensively in my time in FE, and I'm really excited to hear about Wakefield's usage as well. But in terms of Career Coach and where it really fits into a college's marketing and recruitment offer, when you look at a typical sort of student learner, what sort of drives them in terms of applying to come to a college? Well, these are sort of four key things, certainly with my experience and from what colleges we work with sort of feedback to, which is, what type of job they're going to be doing, who they're going to be doing that job with from an employer perspective, where they're going to study that course in order to get the skills and the qualifications to do that job, and ultimately, where's the right place for them to study. So I think that's one of the key things for me, and one of the real values of Career Coach is what we do is we take your course information and we match that to our LMI, to that local skills demand. So students can see if you do X course, it will lead to Y career, which I think is a real strength, and in particular the skills, the salary, the job forecast, and ultimately who those employers are, which again really helps students sort of clarify and focus what they want to study at college, at your institution. But I also think is really valuable, particularly around parental engagement, certainly from school engagement perspective as well, showing parents where those courses lead and what jobs that their son or daughter can be doing moving forward. So just a quick reminder for anybody that's got Career Coach, and for anyone that's new and doesn't yet have the product, this is a typical landing page, and you'll see within this landing page that we have a range of options for people. So you can take a careers assessment, you can browse careers, and within that, like I say, we'll map your course information against associated careers. And you can also have a look at your courses, which is then hyperlinked through to your website. There's also the ability for students to create CVs, and there's a great opportunity for colleges to actually work with their local employers to advertise local vacancies, apprenticeship opportunities through the site as well. So I think it's a really good tool in terms of clarifying that LMI and careers content around your course offering. So this is a little demonstration around Preston's College. So Preston's a long-standing client of ours, and we can see on the video, this is how you sort of click into it and how it works. So we've got different routes and careers routes within that, and you can see all the different information, etc., that we've got through that actual careers route, which again, we've got all our sort of core LMI in that. And then following on from that, this is what our assessment tool looks like. So our assessment comes in three sizes, if you like. We've got 6 questions, which I think is a particularly good tool to be using in school engagement. Nice short little exercise, particularly in the world of online as it is at the minute. It gives a nice little summary for students to look at, and they can download a nice little PDF of all the skills that they've got. We've then got a 30-question assessment, which is a good activity to do through sort of interview and induction, a little bit more detailed, a little bit more of an accurate reflection and mapping of what course and career they should be looking at. And then finally, there's the 60-question, which is a really sort of in-depth assessment, a really good tutorial, really good student engagement tool, particularly when you think about the challenges that a lot of colleges will be facing this year. Think about those level 2 students that would normally go into the job market. They won't be going potentially into the job market with some issues within the economy. So is there an opportunity for them to stay at college, potentially study at level 3? So I think the 60-question one really sort of goes through that process and a really good tutorial program to look at. That's our portal product. We also have a product within Career Coach called our API, and that's where we take our labour market intelligence and we embed that into your website. So as an example, Sheffield College is a recent API client. When you click through the website, it feels like the college website, but we're linking our LMI and plugging our LMI directly into the college's course offering as well. So it's a really effective way around marketing and recruitment, PR, around where your courses lead to within that local job market, that local skills market as well. And then our latest product is Widget Builder, or plugin as we're calling it. So Widget Builder sits within the administration area of Career Coach. We're seeing that here. You can select your existing courses that we've mapped for you, and you can create a little widget that you can embed in your website, or you can embed within the VLE. It has dual purposes for me in the fact that it can act as a really strong marketing and recruitment tool, and I think that's its core purpose, to be able to customize, put these little widget onto your course pages, really showing students, parents, employers where your course is linked to that local skills demand. But I also think it's particularly effective when you start looking at adding it to your VLE. So whether you use Moodle or Canvas, or a lot of colleges are using Teams at the minute, you can embed these little widget into each of the careers pages for each of your curriculum departments, which is quite effective. And there's quite a high level of customization within the tool. So you can see within the video, you can customize how you want to look at wages, whether you want to put job openings in, whether you want to have it linked to your actual Career Coach portal. You can also match the hex color of your college website and your branding, so that you can customize it to look exactly like the college website as well. I think it's a really great addition to our Career Coach family now. So we have our portal, our API, and then this new product plugin, which I think is really effective. And the final slide from me before I hand over to Leigh is what it looks like. So this is what it looks like on a college's potential website. I think it's a really nice image. Again, students can have a look at that. Potential students can have a look at it, parents, and the call to action there is for them obviously to visit your website and look at any potential courses that they're interested in. So that's a little bit from me in terms of our update around Career Coach and on what we're looking at the minute. So I'm going to be delighted now to hand over to Leigh and hear a little bit more about what Wakefield's doing in terms of our Career Coach product. So Leigh, over to you.
Thank you very much, Ben, and good morning, everybody. I look forward to sharing with you all our Career Coach journey at Wakefield College, but I must say it is an ongoing journey and we're evolving all of the time, and we still do have plenty to learn. But we became a Career Coach customer back in 2017, and originally it was purchased for the college within the marketing budget, whereas now it's centrally funded from the college pot. But I'll explain the reasons as to why that evolved as we go through this. Utilisation initially, we were quite low, I must say, a few hundred every 6 months, and thankfully we've grown that drastically over the period of which we've been a customer. And I think one of the key things that we were possibly guilty of in the initial few months of use was lack of visibility and lack of access points for the portal. So in reality, it was only accessible via our public website and not in a greatly easy place to find. We had limited publicity, both internally and externally, for staff, students and potential pupils of ours. And we had a general lack of knowledge across the whole college, really, about labour market information in terms of its true use for planning, for implementation into teaching, and for use for students to make informed decisions. And thankfully, we've grown and improved over this period with that. Recognising the above, though, we have made, obviously, drastic changes to things where we now have multiple access points. We have program of CPD for staff to understand labour market information. We've built Career Coach into various processes across college day-to-day life, and we embrace Career Coach much more in our wider college approaches too. Because it was, as I say, a fair observation to say in the initial period we didn't have that whole college focus with it. But as I'll go on to sharing in the next slides, you will see how that evolved over our journey. So next slide, please, Ben. Thank you very much. So the first thing we recognised was that the public website need to have multiple locations for the access point for Career Coach, with a permanent header that scrolls across the top. So it's now one of 6 options that's on our public website that scrolls across the top. It's permanently listed there, giving that greater opportunity for any visitor to the website to immediately see that. Whereas it's also available at different locations across the website now too. We have a much more accessible internal platforms now, such as within our VLE, it's within various locations such as the careers page, our student central support pages, the induction page, the main landing page. We have it in our staff intranet, and we also use emails and different platforms much more as well to try and advertise access to the platform. We have various outgoing communications and much more along that through the webinar. I'll talk about it. So within our school liaison approach, our Career Coach is embedded realistically within all of what the school liaison team do now, and access points is shared across all of our recruitment events we attend, specifically through the blue flyer you can see there at the bottom that is an easy handout takeaway for anybody during normal times, and also by the fact that we make sure we have tablets and laptops available at all of those events, whether that's external or internal to college, so we can give a live experience of access to Career Coach. And that covers things of the ilk of school parents' evenings, school careers events with Y11 through to from Y9 through to Y11, our own college open events with face-to-face or virtual. And we also built into the calendar as well a few years ago a school careers leader event where we invite our school careers leaders into a coffee morning. We provide breakfast and we talk about our different uses of platforms, our curriculum offers, and I've ensured Career Coach has been a real advocate within that event to make sure that we really advertise to the schools that we could help them and help our potential young students of the future to be much more labour market aware and therefore hopefully make those right decisions at the first time. We include it in our Y10 taster event activities and our Y11 pre-induction activities, and generally all of our virtual activity has that at the moment now, where you can see there in the top right of the corner of the slide that we have our induction task for Y10 students, for students once they've enrolled at the college. And recently we've had our Your Future event, which was all a virtual careers event instead of our Next Steps event, where all of the content was virtual. And we included a daily element of Career Coach in that to make sure that all visitors to that could actually see Career Coach as a viable tool for their career planning. Admissions now. Admissions have a letter, all of our admissions letters, have a footer with Career Coach in there. So every letter that goes out from our admissions team has a basic introduction blurb within the footer and a link to Career Coach in there. So again, raising those opportunities for all visitors to the college and all admissions letters and communication to really drive that opportunity for students, pupils of ours, to actually utilise Career Coach. Our enrolment and induction processes were refreshed as well. So our parent welcome pack, our parent portal and our welcome events all include Career Coach, and again similar laptops, tablet devices to give a live opportunity. Our Moodle induction pages have demonstrations and examples of how to use Career Coach. Our student Z card that's given out at enrolment and induction to all students has an advertisement and a reiteration of the use of Career Coach within it. And as I've already alluded to, we have an induction task that all of our learners complete within an induction period of either the 30 or 60 question careers assessment to help inform the initial ILP whilst also curriculum planning through the academic year. The Careers Service utilised Career Coach through one-to-one interviews or group work, including class talks. We have Moodle news and corporate news updates that we share across the organisation relating to advertising Career Coach, and that really has helped to try and engage both staff and students within the portal. We have a careers mailbox out of office notification as an automatic reply that again has that invite to utilise the platform. So we're trying to cover all bases across our services where we can to make sure that the platform is firstly recognised and known of, but also then is accessed greatly as well. And then one of the key drivers I think that's helped in the last few years was the work placement team picking up the opportunity to embrace Career Coach 2. So they now have it as a prerequisite that any student that engages with the work placement team must have completed a careers assessment within Career Coach and registered on there first before they then access the CRM support opportunities and opportunities to go out on work placement and the support of the service too. And it goes without saying that we work with the careers team to build it in, the curriculum teams, apologies, to build that into their planning, their teaching and their various assessment methods over the academic year. But one of the key things I think that has helped all of those, that journey point is the fact that we do have a Wakefield specific filter within the platform. So as much as we advocate social mobility and support it completely, lots of our learners still only want to see about Wakefield specific information and data. And I think that's really powerful within the tool for our students to see that, because the major cities around Yorkshire and the Humber do change the data specific drastically, and a lot of our learners do want to see that Wakefield specific context. And it also helps as well for staff to see that in terms of their planning and such like, and work placement teams for looking at opportunities. I'm a big advocate for the work placement team to utilise Career Coach themselves to actually look at the recruiting companies within our district, the skills that they're looking for, and we utilise all of that within our planning and our delivery of support too. Next slide, please, Ben. So as a whole college, the reminders and updates really that we share for information sharing purposes are across our corporate news and our Moodle news. And on a fortnightly basis, I share a careers insight, which you can see two examples there at the bottom of the screen. They're slightly different worded for students and for staff, but the crux of it is that we go into Career Coach, we get some sample of a job profile, I hyperlink them back to Career Coach and share them with staff and students as an insight. I think one of the key things there to consider is that sometimes they're random career choices, and then other times they're themed in line with other wider context of college or areas, program areas who maybe have low engagement with the portal at the time, to try and really give the context of how it's relevant to the students. And they're basically screenshots of the LMI data that's within Career Coach. We also include it now within our student experience data capture processes too, so engagement levels are captured within that. And then again, it informs both governor, exec team and other SLT management and planning processes too within the college. And I talked about at the very beginning of the webinar about our low levels of engagement initially. But as you can see there, in the last 6 months at the top right of the screen, we've had over 2,500 hits to the portal. And you can see initially the main spike, and it may be obvious to say, is during the enrolment period, but we now do see peaks and troughs at different points in the year so far where we've had themes or activities or focuses on Career Coach and other portals around careers. So within that last 6 months, we've had the 2,500 plus hits, and that's more than double last academic years by the year to date point. And in the last 7 days, we've had 287 visits alone, with 538 in the last month. So we are seeing that real improvement now, and hopefully we can continue to develop that much more once we return from lockdown and beyond. And alongside that, we've seen nearly 1,600 careers assessments completed in the last 6 months too. So you can see the impact of some of the changes that we're embedding within our curriculum planning, support offer, and other areas of college too. It's actually having that student buy-in and that student impact now. And one of the areas that I utilise heavily as a careers leader for this platform is the Career Coach admin portal. And it gives you much more granular detail, as I've been able to provide there on the screen for you, about utilisation, about top activity, about geography of where your visits are coming from, but also what assessment figures look like and who has been completing them. And one of the key things from that as well, as you can see at the top right there, and the final option is top referrals. It can there give you an insight of who's got onto Career Coach and where did they come from. So was it the public website, was it Moodle, was it via live chat, or was it via different platforms where you're advertising Career Coach? So a real insightful area of Career Coach, and again, really beneficial for somebody like myself in a career leader capacity. And it's really strengthened therefore our opportunity to be able to look at how we support our learners as a college for our Gatsby benchmark scoring, and achievement, but also informs other practices across college, both strategic planning, curriculum planning, and other quality review processes too. And as time goes by, as heads of curriculum become much more confident with the use and planning of labour market information, then we're now a college customer of Course Vision and Curriculum Planner as well within the Emsi product suite. Next slide, Ben, please. So as I said at the beginning, we're not the finished article. We do know we've got some improvements still to be made, and obviously working in the FE sector, it's an ever-evolving environment. So we know we need to embed the product further into our programme area planning and practice, especially with a higher education and apprenticeship focus within the organisation. We're reviewing our college processes further to enable that. Our website developments, although much improved, need to be continued to be improved further. And as Ben's demonstrated, the API and Widget Builder are definite products that we want to build into our website provision as soon as possible to make sure that visitors at all points can access labour market information. Our school liaison team are developing individualised opportunities with schools and our partner schools as per need and request, and we're looking to embrace both the careers team and the labour market information through Career Coach within those processes too. I've touched on the quality review processes already, where we're looking at how we access and utilise the data that comes from Career Coach and the admin. And we're also developing a new student and employer magazine for recruitment tools, where Career Coach will obviously play a large part within that. And then I think it goes without saying that large parts of where students will engage with platforms of this ilk, or will notice them in the first instance, is social media. And again, we do need to do more with that as a college. But overall, we're really pleased with our engagement and impact levels of Career Coach over the journey that we've been with the product. And we're seeing really the rich engagement now, even through lockdown, the rich engagement now that we believe is having that impact for our learners and for our students in terms of their learner journey with us. Back to you, Ben.
Absolutely fascinating and really good to hear. In particular, you know, all the breadth of the work. You know, obviously as a recruitment and marketing tool, Career Coach has lots and lots of value. And you know, when I've worked in FE, we've used it particularly well, like you say, around showing students and parents where that course is leading to. But clearly, you know, you've really gone beyond that and really embedded it in the careers offer. We haven't got any questions from any delegates at the minute, but can I ask a couple of questions if that's okay?
Of course, Ben, I welcome questions, of course.
Yeah, one of the things I was wondering is how are you now starting to look at either through sort of like student surveys or sort of induction activities, are you starting to think about what impact this can have positively from a student retention perspective, particularly in that day 42 period?
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, in terms of that day 42 period, we've seen an increase in our retention through that period of up to nearly 3% now for the last year alone. And you can see that we recognise that Career Coach and other elements that we've changed in terms of that, making that informed decision, making those opportunities to explore with information and data and clarity for themselves is really powerful. And I think our enrolments are up last academic year through the enrolment period by over 500. Our applications we've had record highs for the last 2 academic years, and our destinations data is improving too, including our retention and progression from level 1 to 2 to level 3. So absolutely, we recognise that Career Coach is a powerful tool within that, and we absolutely want to continue that development into greater use of student surveys, greater impact from a student point of view. I mean, we do have examples of where students have talked to us around their experience of Career Coach, about how it's directly led them into their next career choice, how they've got part-time employment or full-time employment from it and directly applied from the portal using the jobs links. So we absolutely do have examples and student cases where we can see it and feel the impact. But I recognise we probably could do that in a smarter way and a much more concise way.
No, that's good to hear, and certainly, you know, as an ex manager in FE, you know, we used a lot of this in terms of that as well, and it's great to hear that it's having that positive impact. And you touched upon Gatsby benchmarks, and obviously you know, LMI plays and employer information plays a real key part. You know, it is Gatsby Benchmark 2 and Gatsby Benchmark 4 and Ofsted as well. How are you using that? Are you confident around your self-assessment, particularly around Gatsby 2 now as a result of using this?
Absolutely, yeah, and I think this is one of the key drivers that gives us the belief that we can answer Gatsby Benchmark 2 to 100%. Our engagement levels, our utilisation of our conversations with students, the way we embed it across so many different elements and factors of college now that infill and inform those processes. Absolutely, we believe Gatsby Benchmark 2 is solely in many ways achieved by our utilisation of Career Coach, but also then it does inform into Gatsby Benchmark 4 greatly too from the utilisation and work with the curriculum areas. I mean, more learners are coming now to careers interviews much more informed of their choices. They're speaking to tutors in ILPs, utilising information and examples that they've got from Career Coach. They're speaking to programme area heads at interview about their next choice and courses that they've seen on Career Coach. So there's absolutely is a culture to embrace and to develop further.
That's really good to hear, and I think, yeah, that's a real challenge, isn't it, for a lot of colleges, certainly under the new EAF, is around that switch to intent and ultimately how you're feeding into those benchmarks, and it's really good to hear that's having a positive impact. So I mean, I can't see any questions from any colleagues that have joined us today, but I just want to say thank you very much for your time. I think it's absolutely fascinating, and obviously for anyone that is interested, like Debbie said at the start of the webinar, we will be sharing the slides, and obviously we'll be looking at doing a short case study with a bit more detail around what Wakefield are doing in the future, so keep an eye out for that. But in the first instance, I just want to say thank you very much to Leigh. Thank you for giving up your time this morning. Really appreciate it. It's great case study and really good example of how you're using Career Coach. And I just want to thank everyone for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you at a webinar in the future. So thanks ever so much.